Hi, I'm Alana. This is Alana's Artisanal Cooking Show. This week we're celebrating Easter and the Florida Wine and Balloon Festival, which we're going to participate in. And so I'm going to do a Wine-Poached Eggs Benedict on a cheese biscuit. And it's going to be very nice. So the first thing we're going to do is make biscuits, so follow me this way. I have all my setup for my biscuits here. This is 2 cups of flour, half a stick of butter that's cold, chopped up into cubes. I got a little bit of thyme, it's herbs picked there, and I got some black pepper, tablespoon of baking powder, about a cup of cheese, grated cheese, and 2/3 of a cup of almond milk. You can use regular milk or whatever you want. I've got a little bit of cornmeal here, coarsely ground for dusting the outside of the biscuits. And yep, here we go. I'm gonna have to grab my biscuit cutter in a minute, but not yet. So the first thing you do is you want to cut in the butter into the flour, like you're making a pie crust kind of, and I have my handy dough cutter right here, and you just want to work this in. I'm going to add a little salt too, good healthy pinch, and work that into, you want to get it into like pebble size pieces, the butter, you know, well incorporated into the flour until it looks crumbly. It'll stick together in your hand a little bit. I like to use this because my hands tend to be pretty hot and you want the butter to be cold. But if your fingers are not prone to being warm, you can use them. Or you can use a fork. Alright, about halfway there. The whole thing with a biscuit is you don't want to overwork the dough, especially once you get any liquid incorporated into it. That'll activate the gluten in the flour. And you don't want tough biscuits. And if you have English muffins at home, that's traditional for Eggs Benedict, and that's totally cool to use that too. Whatever you like, but these biscuits are delicious. Alright, so this is, have a look at this texture here. You still see chunks of butter, but there's a lot, it's all pretty well incorporated into the flour. But big chunks of butter, that's where you want to be. Alright, and now I'm going to put in the baking powder. Put the cheese in now and then work the liquid in. I'm going to switch to a wooden implement. And I'm just going to stir this around first, and then I'm going to make a well in the center and stir in the milk. A couple more turns and then I'm going to start kneading it by hand in the bowl. And when I say knead, I use that term loosely. I'm going to just really kind of compress it together a couple times. Obviously you want clean hands when you do this. Alright, well, since we keep it real on my cooking show, we're now going to be using a improvised rolling pin-like device because I might have left my rolling pin somewhere. So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of this cornmeal on my counter, which is impeccably clean, of course. And then I'm going to put my dough on it. I am going to work it just a little bit until it comes together. I'm going to add a little bit of water. It's like, you know, when you're cooking and baking, they say, you know, baking, you gotta follow the recipe exactly. Sometimes it's humid, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you need a little more liquid. Do what you gotta do. Make it work. That's how we roll. Alright. That is as far as I want to take that before I roll it out. Alright. You just want to kind of keep it to where you don't want it to stick too much to your counter if you can avoid it. But you will always have a handy dandy bench scraper nearby. Hopefully it'll help you out of jam if you should get any. Stick or the rolling pin. Now I want these kind of thin, not too thick, because they will puff up a little bit in the oven. I want them to be about English muffin size, and I want them about the same circumference, or diameter rather, as the Canadian bacon, which I have on my other end of my mise en place down there. We'll get to that later. Alright, so that looks good enough. It's probably about ½ an inch thick. Got a ring cutter. And I'm going to go to town. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more cornmeal on my baking sheet. So they don't stick. Alright. Sprinkle a little more cornmeal. You can brush these with butter if you went crazy or something. Into the oven they go, 450. I'm going to check them after 10 minutes, and then they can take up to 15. Sweet dreams, little babies. Alright, now we're going to get ready to poach our eggs. So I've got some red wine here. You can use whatever you like. Use something you would drink. You don't want to cook with anything less than you would put in a glass and drink. So this is something I like. It's a Valpolicella. I'm going to fill this pot up, about halfway, I guess. Don't need that much. Enough for the eggs to float and not touch the bottom. And it's going to give them a really nice dramatic color, and they're going to be very sexy and delicious. When you cut into it and you see the purple outside and the white and then the yellow, it's really beautiful. A little more. We're going to get these eggs crunk. As all eggs wish they could be on Easter. But since they're for kids, gotta keep it PG at the Easter egg roll. Alright, so get some heat going here. And, you don't want super high heat when you're poaching eggs. I'm going to bring it up to temperature over some pretty high heat, but then we're going to keep it at a very low simmer while we're poaching, actually. And we got one more minute on the biscuits before I check them. So I'm going to check them real quick. Ooh, they're looking good already. I think they can use a couple more minutes. Probably put them in for the other 5 minutes. They're going to be beautiful. While I'm waiting for that to come up to temperature, I am going to show you about prep for the hollandaise sauce. I got 2 egg yolks here. This is clarified butter. This was 2 sticks of butter, and basically you melt it in a pot and you skim off the solids with this ladle. Alright, so I got 2 egg yolks, and I'm going to squeeze a little lemon juice in here. I got half a lemon. I'm not going to squeeze all of the juice in there because I might want a little bit more later. And hollandaise scares people, and it can be tricky and finicky, but don't freak out. It's not that bad. We're going to get through it together. And that's going to go on a double boiler. See, this is another pot. I've got like about ½ an inch of water in the bottom of this pot. And this is going to go on top of here once this water comes to a boil also. And then I'm going to get my whisk, and we're going to get some action going. It's going to be intense. But it's going to work out. I'm going to season it with a little bit of cayenne and black pepper, salt, and then we're going to stir in all these mixed herbs, which is going to make it sort of greenish almost. It's going to be a very springtime looking festive thing. And that'll be really what it's about. Arugula we're going to put underneath for the egg to rest on. It's going to be like the egg in a nest. It's going to be really cute on top of our little Benedict. So here we go. Alright, now our wine is coming up to temperature. I'm seeing a few little bubbles in it. So I'm going to turn the heat from high to low, maybe 2. I'm going to see how we do on 2. Yeah, I got a nice little smoke coming off of it. Slotted spoon, very important for poaching eggs. I'm going to try to drop these eggs in one at a time. It's good to crack your eggs ahead at a time and to a vessel that you can lower toward the surface of the water, or wine, whatever your poaching liquid may be. I go in with my first egg. You want to swirl the water with your spoon and make a little whirlpool for the egg to sit in. Let me get this so I don't make a mess with my spoon. But I also don't want to catch anything on fire. Alright. Okay, a little whirlpool. One egg in. And we're going to see. Hopefully it's not resting on the bottom. It's kind of hard to see. It'll take about 3 minutes per egg. Oh yes, these are perfect. Biscuits. Sexy. Let's see. Let me see if this egg is... Alright, yeah, we got a little coagulation happening. You gotta be really careful because they're kind of hard to see. Alright, so I'm going to make a little bit of room for my second egg right here. I'm going to drop him in. You gotta let it set for just a few seconds before you try to move it with your spoon. It's kind of like fumbling around in the dark a little bit with the wine, but you know, you just gotta trust yourself and be careful with your spoon not to break your yolks. Yeah, alright, we're getting there on the first egg. Make sure second egg isn't sticking. Yep, we're good on that guy too. Oh, little egg strands. Alright, so we're probably about another 2 minutes on the first egg, probably another 3 on the second. And in the meantime, I think I can go ahead and get the water going for my hollandaise. So I'm going to get that going. Not too terribly high on that either. You want to, again, bring it up to a boil, but you don't want it to be boiling while you're making your hollandaise. You want to, because you want to cook these egg yolks very gently. That's part of the game. And another good thing to do is have a little bit of water on hand to correct your hollandaise consistency if you need to. Just a couple tablespoons. Alright, I'm starting to see my eggs kind of float. Alright, we're making good progress. Alright, now I'm going to see. I'm starting looking again at the eggs. You want to check them. See if the whites have coagulated completely. It's important to take your time. This one's looking like it's starting to be nicely set around the edges. It's just got a bit of a wiggle there still. I think I'm going to let it go for about 30 more seconds. And that's the more done of the two. Still a little bit more wobbly, if you feel in the white there. And we'll clean up the edges so they won't look so wrinkly and weird. Alright, I'm going to pull my first egg out. I'm going to put them on a paper towel to drain. I'm calling these done. Those are our wine-poached eggs. Hey there, Alana here, reminding you to click like and subscribe to my channel, please. And also go to Facebook. You can like us there. We'd appreciate it. And if you don't want to, tell us why. There's a comment section.